There's very few new ideas ever in cuisine. I think that it's very important for us as innovators to have the ability to look back in order to see the future and where we might go. I'm Chef Angie Marr, and I'm the owner of Restaurant Le Bee. My love for food really stemmed from my family. I come from a family of restaurateurs in Seattle, and I think that there's just always been this innate love for cuisine and really great cuisine. My first fine dining experience, I'll never forget it. I was 8 years old, and I was at Canlis in Seattle, which is a restaurant that opened up the same year that my family's restaurant opened up in Seattle, which is 1948. And I went to the restaurant. I definitely misbehaved. I got sent to the car, and when I got done with timeout and I got to go back into this restaurant, it really changed things for me. It changed, there was something that shifted. Walking back into that restaurant, being sat at that beautiful table in this gorgeous room. It was like the first time in my life that I really realized, that fine dining can be very special. And I've been chasing that moment ever since. There's not a lot of times in one's life where you get the opportunity to own a piece of New York history, right? And, the Beatrice Inn is one of these storied restaurants. It opened in the early 1900s. It was one of New York's first speakeasies. Fitzgerald and Hemingway and Zelda used to drink there. And then after that, it became a red sauce joint. Paul Draper, the great American dancer, would go there for veal Milanese, and it was storied that he would tap dance on the tables after dinner to entertain the guests. And then from there, it became this like amazing nightclub in the early aughts. It was owned by the Sevignyes. After that, Graydon Carter owned it and turned it into a chop house. I wasn't cool enough to get in. I had to buy the place to get in, right? So when I bought it, I really felt that it was only right to honor the history of such a legendary establishment, because I've never really viewed myself as the owner of that restaurant. I've always viewed myself as the steward of a great name and a great piece of New York history. I really wanted it to reflect the history of New York. I wanted not only the menu to reflect the history, but I also wanted the energy and the vibe of that space to be indicative to, all of these really great eras of New York. And I think we did a really great job. It was a really hard decision in 2020 to close the Beatrice Inn. With COVID, it didn't make it possible to continue that restaurant. There's no place in the world, I think, that brings New York together like a great downtown New York establishment. And that is very much what the Beatrice Inn was and what Le Bee is now. Really nice sauce. When I went to write the menu for Le Bee, it really all kind of reverts to that 8-year-old me, right? The 8-year-old me that got to have this amazing fine dining experience with this tasting menu and the feeling of chasing that first great culinary experience. Le Bee very much echoes that. It leans into the French culinary classics, but at the same time, it still brings in flavors from my heritage, which is Chinese, with a lot of very strong Japanese influences. Opening Le Bee really gave me the opportunity to have a blank slate and to really showcase, the cuisines that I love and the foods that I love, and to be able to share that with my diners. This restaurant is really of my soul and the real me. These 2 plates are gonna go to bar 6-7. Please set them for trout, thank you. I have really learned over the years that there's no place that I'd rather be than in the kitchen with my team. A big part of what I focus on now is mentorship. Mentorship of the next generation of cooks, the next generation of restaurant professionals. So for me, it's really important that I'm in the restaurant every single night. It's very rare that you'll dine here and I won't come touch your table.
Chef always say that People expectation are high when they come in, but we have to go over the expectation that they have. It's a kind of restaurant where you can't do a lot of mistakes. You have to be always on the top, always very focused. And working with like the whole team all the time, we communicate a lot. I think it helped to like taking care of the whole table of the restaurant to the top.
I always think it's very rewarding when we, as creatives, get to witness people enjoying the fruits of our labor. You know, there's so much that goes into really great restaurants. And I think that, you know, especially with the way that we write our menus with, you know, going to the market 4 days a week and, you know, endless research into history and how we can really modernize classic cuisine and, you know, reinterpret it for the modern diner. I do have one item that's a carryover from the original Beatrice Inn, which is our Le Burger. Le Burger debuted in 2013 on the Beatrice Inn menu, and it hasn't changed ever since then. It's a proprietary blend that we do. It is 90% dry-aged ribeye, and it's very special. It just kind of has this cult following. And, you know, Vogue wrote about it and, you know, they call it the Birkin bag of burgers. We're very proud of it. You know, it has its own masterclass now, and that masterclass has gotten a James Beard Award. We're very, very thrilled that it still has this cult following. What really keeps me motivated is growth, evolution. I don't believe in creating something and then having it remain stagnant. It's like a painting, right? You build something and you complete a work, and then you've got to move on to the next work. Everyone's art is always evolving, and ours certainly has over the years. That mentality of constant growth and constant learning is something that we instill here, front of house, back of house, whether you have 10 years of experience and you're joining our team, or you're just out of culinary school, or maybe you never went to culinary school. I think that as long as you have innate hunger and curiosity, that's the best attitude to have for this business. We all have those really, really wonderful life-changing meals that are like really imprinted into our mind. And I think that our goal every night is to see how we can do that for every guest that comes in.